aka Eileen, the little crap that gives more information about the show and my YouTube show, which is called The Little Crafts Show. Both can be found on my website, eileenlittlecraft.com. Alrighty, guys, I'm sorry. I'm just a little tired, and I accidentally erased the first, the first draft. Yeah, I kind of go through drafts of the podcast, and my throat is killing me, but I'm going to try and get through this if possible. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not found any really good anime in terms of fall. My recommendations for, anime, if you guys are interested in new anime if you haven't caught up on these titles yet, I'm gonna kind of give them off in random what I didn't like about them, what I liked about them, and maybe a little bit of storyline. I did like the Darling in the Franxx. I liked it because the storyline was really interesting. I liked it because of the drawings, a really well thought out drawing, and the premise. Kind of the same premise of mankind being destroyed and build up, and there's a lot of twists and turns. It's a very, it's not your typical like Gundam story where it's just more about the battles. Sorry, my head is just pounding. Hoping the leaves will kick in soon. It's not just about the typical battles. There's a lot of twists and turns in terms of who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Basically, memories being altered. A marriage takes place. A child is born. And it was a really weird, interesting concept. And I kind of feel like there's a lot of... I don't want to say adult themes, but kind of... This is a more mature anime, so therefore I kind of feel like my rating for this would be somebody who is 16 or mature in age. There are certain concepts that I kind of feel like, I don't know if I want my child watching something like this. Since I do have a 14-year-old son, I definitely wouldn't feel very comfortable about it. I mean, not that it's totally graphic in nature, just the themes in general. There's just certain things that I kind of feel like, yeah. Anyways, the next one was Lord Vernium, the Crimson King. That one basically had a lot of themes that were really heartbreaking. So again, this is another one that I recommend for 16 and older. They do show something kind of graphic, which kind of would freak you out as a kid, a parent, strangling. And I'm sorry for the spoilers. They get into the backstory of the main character who was accused of killing his father, and he has to live with that. And they kind of show that, and it was really like, oh man, like that was pretty deep. Like I was like, oh, it made me cringe, and I'm 44 years old, so I could imagine a kid watching that. So yeah. So the premise behind this one, basically, there is a gate. Some believe that it needs to be destroyed to bring back a special someone. The others believe that it will bring a utopia. Another group believes that do not destroy this gate because, the rest of mankind could be destroyed, and they don't want that. They're happy with the way the world is now. So it's a lot of different groups involved. It kind of didn't set up, in my opinion, the premise of each group properly. It kind of overlapped a little too much. And unless I missed something, maybe I did. And there was a little bit of holes in the story. Nothing completed in certain areas that I felt needed a little bit more of a storyline. So like I said, this one is okay. It's not the best. I think like out of 5 stars, I would give it a 3.5. And I don't know if they are going to have a second season, because I'm going to leave you to that. If you're going to watch it, the ending really is like, how are they going to fix it? Like what? So yeah. So Myokia and Ronji's, I hope, am I pronouncing that right? Hold on, let me double check. Okay, Mukyo and Renji's investigation of supernatural investigations. That's the word. Sorry. That one was a surprise. I actually did that. I was actually looking for anime because I didn't have anything else to watch. Nothing else was catching my eye, and I was like, okay, well, let's see if there's anything on there. And it, even though I'm not crazy about the drawing, because especially the main character, one of the Mukyo, he's drawn in a really weird, odd way, and there's a lot of like little gags. There is one particular character is kind of too much pervy. If you don't like your child watching an anime where ladies' fun bags or breasts are being poked at, I definitely would say do not have your child watch this one. I didn't know that was happening until like one of the characters was introduced. It turns out that he's kind of a ladies' man and a little bit of a perv. So it was just like, really, 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 really. So anyway, basically, Mukyo is he is a supernatural warrior, and he is one of the top personnels of being a lawyer. He is like a magical genius. He's broken records, for the magical lawyer bureaus or whatever. Who turns out that basically they are kind of a group that thinks, depending on which lawyer, they are corrupt and really, really mean. There's an episode there that explains that. And throughout this whole thing, there's a character there. There was 3 of them. They were best buds. They grew up together, and one of them became corrupt because of certain circumstances. And there's a lot going on. He wants to save his friend, and in the meantime, he's also having an apprentice, and he's also becoming a lawyer himself. And they go through all the cases, learning how to be a good magician of sorts or a good magical lawyer. And they help a lot of people along the way with dealing with his friend who basically turns to the dark side. And yeah, so it's kind of one of those episodes that has, and each case kind of, it seems like each case seems to be related to his friend. I forget the friend's name, that he basically throws their way, to basically try and keep him on his toes against the evil that is coming, and while he's plotting, something really disastrous. So it's a really good anime. Like I said, the only thing that I don't like about that is just that one particular character that basically grabs one of the girl's boobs. And yeah, like I said, it's just, he doesn't seem to do it often, but I just, even in the credits, you see it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not thrilled about that, but it is what it is. It's a little, it's a little crazy, but anyways. So because of that, I kind of feel like if I'm giving it rating it out of 5 stars, I would give it a 2.5 stars, only because I feel uncomfortable with that. The stories are pretty interesting. So, anyways, moving right along, Twilight Zone Phantom kind of reminds me a little bit of those dating games, which is really popular in a lot of countries. So it kind of almost reminded me of that, but it's not. It's about a young lady from China. Well, actually, it's about 2 young ladies from China, and they basically go abroad for a design school in college. And the lady, the main character, she is not supposed to be abroad. Her parents forbade her, but she went anyways. They're not helping her pay her tuition, so she also has to look for a job as well. And she also does know that her grandmother went to London. Her grandmother, basically, she didn't know anything about her grandmother because basically, I guess there was some type of falling out and it was forbidden to talk about her of sorts. So I don't know if it's because of the magical use. Later on, you find out. And they are Umbras. Basically, they're strong imaginations of humans. And like you get Dracula's, what is that? Dracula's, Darksucker's Dracula. You have basically, you have a vampire. You have the werewolf clan, which basically was wiped out. But the two brothers survived that are at odds, and later on, look like they come to see the light. You later on see a doll. Basically, he was a magical doll, or what is that? What do they call that? I forget. The dolls that are made out of clay. I forget the name of it. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. The clay doll that basically, does your bidding. Anyways, he was made out of magic. And her grandmother, I think her name is Shion. I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, the grandmother basically used the spell to free him of that. So he becomes part of her, teachings and organization of Twilight. And then later on, you find a ghost who basically has his own little secrets. He has his own little memory loss. So they work in the cafe, Twilight Cafe, and they help people out, magical people out. And the young lady comes about, and they really don't want her to be a part of this world because they're worried for her safety. But she gets dragged into it later, as time goes on. And her best friend gets dragged into it as well. And there's a lot going on with her as well. If I had to rate this one, I would rate it at a 4 out of 5. I really liked it. Again, I guess maybe because it was kind of predictable. By midway, I kind of guessed what was going on. And I was like, I know it. So I can't wait for the second season to come out. Hopefully it'll be soon, but you never know what goes on with that. Angels of Death is a really fun and twisted anime about killers. And one particular person, Rachel Gardner, who wakes up and doesn't remember anything about herself. And she's going around these floors and finds some help through an unlikely source of the gentleman named Jack Forrester. And he basically has his own twisted black story that makes him, makes you feel sad for him. But at the same time, you're like, well, you didn't have to become a killer. So it's a lot of twists and turns. This one, because of certain natures, and well, basically because of certain storylines. Another one I would recommend for, 16 and older, and I would definitely give this a 5 out of 5, this one, and it is on Hulu, Funimation, and Crunchyroll. So those are my anime picks, guys. Like I said, it was very slim pickings. A lot of anime did, and like the Sakura, Clear Cards, don't know when that's coming back. I don't remember anything else that I was watching. Oh, wait a minute, there's one that I forgot. Breakfast of the Spirits was another interesting one. I honestly didn't think I was going to like this one, so I definitely would give this a 5 out of 5. Breakfast of the Spirits basically is about a young lady who gets sucked into or kidnapped into the spirit realm. And there's a lot of twists and turns about her origins. Well, not origins, but she basically got saved by a yokai when she was younger. Her mother basically abandoned her and told her not to open up the door as she was leaving. Don't open up the door for anybody that knocks on the door. So and don't leave the house. So basically she just, and I'm sorry for this, I know it's a huge spoiler alert. She basically told her just stay there and die. She left her with no food, no So she just left. I guess also the reason why she left was because I guess she couldn't handle either being a mother or being a mother to a child that can see these spirits, because I guess it became very difficult. Now, at that time, I guess they didn't know, but here's the thing. The woman had, I don't know if it was her father or her, like I said, I don't know, like if it's the father's father, whatever. Anyways, so whether it was from the mother's side or the father's side, there was a grandfather there. And instead of having her say, hey, X, Y, and Z is going on, can you recommend some help? She just kind of left her there to die. And, but later on, it turns out that she was given to her grandfather. They found her, that she had family, I guess, to the orphanage. I don't know exactly when. They didn't really get too much into that. But the yokai came and he saved her. He gave her something to eat for food. And then it turns out that the grandfather owed a lot. He also had spiritual powers as well. And he went to the land of the yokai. And apparently he was a huge gambler and left a bunch of debt. And so now his granddaughter has to pay the debt by marrying the owner of the bed and breakfast. And she doesn't want to do that. There's a lot of conflict in that. And they seem to get along really well. Like, I honestly think that she should marry him because he's such, not because of that, but he treats her so well. He's so kind. He's so infatuated with her. I don't think that he wants to marry her because of the debt. I think he honestly wants to marry her because of her and who she is. So it's really, really interesting. Excuse me again. On that storyline. The way they left it, I kind of was like, no, like, more. First season was all about their problems in their inn, and then they go back to where, I think it's called the southern part of the yokai village, which is basically kind of like their sister inn, and they help out there. And a lot of things are revealed as well. There's still some more stories about how the grandfather and this person met and why this deal was made, or whatever the case may be. So it is a good one. Like I said, I would definitely give it a 5 out of 5. That one, I don't see any restriction in. Yeah, I don't see anything like terribly themed for this one, or too adult themed for this one. So I recommend that for everybody. So it's a 5 out of 5. Great drawing, a lot of interesting things going on, and really fun. It's a really fun anime to watch. So yeah, now that's definitely my list. Holy camole, cannot believe I forgot that one. My head is in the fog. I probably should have wrote a quick list of everything, but it is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta fly by the seat of your pants. But yeah, so those are my summer animes. Hopefully I could find some anime this fall that you guys would like. I actually have been watching Bleach, believe it or not. I've never really watched, I think I watched maybe 1 season and a half of Bleach. And then I stopped because I started watching something else. So I am watching Bleach, believe it or not. And I think we stopped at like episode 150 something. To check out the 7 Deadly Sins, which I'm going to watch a couple of them, and then I'll give you my review. I think I'm going to do that next week. I know that I'm going to watch some of it tonight, so therefore I'm like, and I definitely want to give you guys my first impression of what is that show. Midnight in Texas is coming up, so I definitely want to give you my review on that one. So yeah, there's a lot going on that I would like to definitely give you guys give you guys updated, and yeah, some crafting stuff. Like there's some ideas that I kind of been working on, and yeah, no, I have some Christmas ideas that I definitely would like to work on very soon. So I actually will start working that in November or maybe even sooner. But yeah, so if you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below. Or you can always email me your comments or questions. My email address is Eileen at Eileen, excuse me, I said that too fast. Eileen at EileenLittleCrafter.com. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you guys next week. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.